speak upon neuromonitoring in spine surgery and certain essential rules every surgeon must know. First, the purpose of neuromonitoring in spine surgery: prevent intraoperative injury to the spinal cord and the nerve roots, provide a real-time feedback about the neurological function, and to allow immediate corrective action if there are any changes during positioning the patient or while placing screws or by giving traction. So you can immediately make the changes so that the the patient remains intact. The most common surgeries where INOM is a must: scoliosis, deformity correction, that is, spinal cord tumors, intradural, extradural, and intramedullary. Then detethering of the spinal cord for laminectomy and instrumentation, for decompression with fusion, vertebral osteotomy, and for trauma cases with instability. Then, which are the modalities to be used? It is very important first to decide which are the modalities to be used. So, SSEP, which monitors the posterior and the dorsal columns, which is the sensory pathway. It is a must to have SSEPs in each and every surgery of spine, because it really helps us. If we lose NEPs, then it gives us a backup, like that whether the SSEPs are present or not. And we have always noticed that if the SSEPs are preserved and the MEPs have been lost, then there are chances of good recovery. You know, you are able to get the MEPs after some time, you know, with putting warm saline, and if the surgeon feels that he can give cortisone, steroids. For MEPs, is another modality which is important is MEPs, and that is for the corticospinal tracts, which is the motor. For all deformity cases, we should be using MEPs, and for tumor removal also. Then free run EMG, that is also important. It gives you nerve root irritation spontaneously, and it is used in tumor removal and detethering of the spinal cord, where we can stimulate the phylum when it is totally silent. If there is any nerve root irritation, we can tell the surgeon that there is a particular irritation at a particular root. Then triggered EMG. Triggered EMG, you are triggering at a very minimal current, and that is to see the nerve screw proximity. That is used in pedicle screw testing and nerve root identification. Then D-wave. D-wave gives you a direct corticospinal response. It is used in intramedullary spinal cord tumor surgeries. Now, the first thing, you must coordinate with through the INOM team. The surgical plan, with the surgeon has to give us the surgical plan, the side, the approach, the expected risk, lesion, location, and possible nerve involvement. Then the critical steps, we should be alerted. So even we know that now what to expect. Alert the INOM tech before giving any traction, before positioning, and if there is any sudden bleeding during the surgery intraoperatively. So then we know, if we lose the MEPs, we know what action to be taken. Be available to respond immediately if we say that the MEPs are dropped or EMG is firing away continuously. The red flags in INOM, critical red flags. First, always, if there is any baseline change after positioning, then immediately we should inform the surgeon, and the changes should be done immediately. The patient should be repositioned again and seen that we get back the MEPs. Then only you should go forward with the surgery. Then sudden unilateral or bilateral MEPs are lost, then we should immediately inform the surgeon. The surgery should be stopped, and then immediate action should be taken. Warm saline wash we generally give, and if the surgeon feels, then we can give steroids. Then sustained free run EMG burst. If it goes on continuously, then you have to inform the surgeon, and he has to see whether there is any retraction which is pressing upon the nerve roots, or any patty, or any blood clots, or anything. so that we do not lose time and action is taken immediately. Then the SSEP's amplitude dropped by 50% or latency increased by 10%. Then also immediately we should stop, and then this action should be taken to see steps, whatever it is, to reverse. Sometimes it is maybe due to anesthesia, so that also we can coordinate with the anesthetist, bring up the BP and see the BIS if it is below 40 or not, and then go forward if the responses are back. Then the triggered EMG response, that if you trigger less than or equal to 11 milliamps, and this is used during pedicle screw testing. If you get a response when you are stimulating less than or equal to 10 milliamps, then that is definitely a breach. That screw has to be replaced. And D-wave amplitude drops by 50%, the resection should be stopped because this is a direct corticospinal responses and it has to be stopped till you get back the D-wave. And you can always go back and try out the MEP. Whenever you are doing D-wave, it is not that you can be dependent only on the D-wave. You have to be having MEP and SSEPs also. The golden rules for the surgeon. Do not stimulate through the dura. Dura is non-conductive. It won't give you a reliable triggered EMG responses. Avoid stimulating over the bone or the instruments. Bone and metallic retractors disperse the current. Always check for wet field before stimulation. If fluid, CSF, blood irrigation pools around the stimulation site, then the current gets shunted. Keep stimulation probe sharp enough and use a monopolar. The bipolar probe is not suitable for deep root mapping. Avoid retractors pressing upon the roots for a long period, then it will give us a continuous irritation. And then it might damage the nerve roots if it is not rectified. Okay? Thank you. Thanks to my Yogi Kripa team also for always being there with me.